First of all, what's up everybody? Brian Riders here. I'm here today with Voda Concentrations, the solventless concentrate brand you guys are learning a lot about today. I'm with co-founders Nate to my far left, Sean to my immediate left, and today we're going to learn a little bit about their products. I had the fortune and pleasure of meeting them this past week at last week's Bud Tender event hosted by Cultivated Synergy. Got to see their product in action, got to see fans and people engaging and learning about it. And so today, with a little less noise, a little less volume, I wanted to find out about what makes their product so special and give you guys the opportunity to go check it out. So first of all, thanks for sitting down.
Thank you.
Appreciate you guys.
Appreciate that.
Not a problem. Well, again, thank you for coming. Got to meet you last week. It was a little loud and things like that, but I wanted to first start off, before we dive into Voda, which I'm excited to chat about, let me learn a little bit about your guys' kind of business history and personal background. Like, how'd you kind of get into the cannabis game and how'd you start Voda?
So I kind of started off, grew up out here in Colorado.
Cool.
So like 17, 18, I was making hash in my mom's backyard.
Right.
And then
Getting in trouble?
no, luckily not.
Yeah, all right.
Never got caught. So then once I was old enough to get a badge at 21, got the badge. And just kind of helped jumpstart some other solventless companies, and then met Nate. Just kind of decided to start taking things a little more serious. Try to get a real brand out there that kind of represents me.
That's awesome. I like the fact that you just were, there's a lot of people that hop in the game because they think it's a quick money fix and things like that, but it's like, it's really nice to hear that you've been in the industry and playing and working on it for a long time.
I'm 28 now, so it's 11 years of hash making.
Yeah, dig it. Nice. Nate, yourself?
Yeah, so I started here about 7 years ago.
Okay.
Came out here to start a brand, my first one recreational. Had a brand that we did very well. Over the years, we just adapted and changed our, changed my strategy on how to get more involved in the industry. So I helped brands get started, helped some more like making extraction, the process of like doing hydrocarbon extraction was my main priority, and my main education was in that field. So I helped a lot of brands get started, and made most of my business decisions that way.
Cool.
Then I decided, hey, I want to kind of have a brand that pretty much is like that I could say I'm really hands-on involved with. Met Sean through a mutual friend.
Nice.
And realized that we had kind of the same kind of goal, and that we wanted to bring something that was unique and innovating to the market.
Right.
And my background of like just starting brands, I just knew, hey, this is something that with his skill and my experience, we could bring something to the market that was just fresh and new, and we both had passion for it. And this is why this brand to us is something that we're kind of really passionate about.
That's awesome. Well, you guys know me. I'm a marketing guy. I'm a branding guy. Tell me a little bit about the brand Voda. How'd you come up with the name, the logo, and all that kind of stuff?
Well, we first discussed doing a project together. Name's always important, right? And the story behind it. And I think that was pretty much always challenging when you do any kind of brand because you want it to make sense. So for us, we use the word Voda, which is another word, another language for water. And it being a brand for, using water only is pretty much the carriers. What we kind of like wanted to say, make sure that was involved in the word. Then we had to find a logo, every brand had to find a logo, and we went with Trident.
Okay.
Obviously, Trident is in the water, and Trident is carried by Poseidon, kind of like the god of water type of thing. So we kind of want to go with the theme of just water and the Trident involved. This is why this right here is called the tripod.
Okay.
Short for Trident pod.
Yeah.
And we're gonna have a bigger one, a bigger milligram device. We'll call it that's what we call the Trident.
Okay.
For now, it's called tripod for Trident.
Yeah.
And then we have our design of our packaging, even on the display box, you can tell, is water. And you have like the sea creatures in there. We have like the mermaids in there. You have some fish in there. And it's pretty much showing, okay, this is like water, and the Trident is pretty much controlling everything in the water, and everything we do is pretty much part of that. So, we thought I'd discuss it back and forth, but that was pretty much, we wanted to make sure we kept it and make sense and be fun and cool. And that going forward, that's what it'll be.
I like that a lot. It's always good to hear the brand history and brand story, and I think also, like, I love I love the water as you know you have pure and clean and things like that, other words like that in your messaging. I think with stemming from water, that makes a lot of sense. To me.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. That's a good brand story. That's a good brand story. It's a brand that gets you. It's a brand that gets you.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. Thank you for that.
Cool.
I'm super excited to learn now because something I don't know a ton about is really the concentrate game. You know what I mean? Where I'm from in Ohio, you know, I was never huge into cannabis. It was mostly flower, grass, like everyone else. And then as I got into Denver, I heard about the concentrates and figured out what a dab was and things like that. I know you guys have a list of products here. So kind of going down the left, let me hear a little bit about just concentrates. I'll kind of go left to right. Start with the tripod. Tell me a little bit about that.
So our tripod, we essentially our goal was to have a device that was easily carryable.
It's nice. It's small. It's sleek.
Yeah, super small. No worry for the battery, so you don't have to make sure you have the right battery for it. It's disposable, and I wanted it to be flavorful and pack a punch. So we kind of went through a lot of different devices, and just kind of went through the R&D on the oil going inside, trying to get everything perfect. And then this is kind of where we landed. And so it's a higher terpene, a little lower on the cannabinoids. So it's more flavor punch, but you can still get the high off of it.
Yeah, and the goal behind that was that solventless vape devices or vape products are hard to find. It's not really like a common vape device in the market.
Interesting.
So for us, we wanted to kind of have a device that was fun and unique, that was innovating because of the size and it being a pod, and have an intro to solventless products.
Yeah.
Usually when people vape, they're used to different styles of vaping or different concentrates of vaping. We want to say, okay, we want to give you solventless, but give you a different carrier, so now you understand the difference between solventless and other vapes out there.
For those who don't know, let's talk about that a little bit. Tell me the difference between solventless and another vape. What does that solventless exactly mean for the layperson?
So essentially, with extraction, you can use chemicals like butane, CO2. CO2 is technically, they call it solventless, but essentially you're not using any solvents. You're not absorbing your THC into something and then taking it out that way. Solventless is more of you're using whatever you're using, whether it be screens or water, you're using it as a carrier to separate rather than absorb and extract.
Gotcha. And so what are some of the benefits of being solventless then?
So once you have your resin, with us, all it touches is water and
It's
then
clean.
screens and heat.
Cool.
So with BHO and other types of extracts that use solvents, it's touching a bunch of other chemicals,
Got it.
and in the end, it's kind of just how many things have touched your.
I think that's good to know, especially with all the things with vape, that have been out in the market area. You guys doing something different and cleaner, I feel that's going to set it apart.
And to my take on it, because I started with hydrocarbon, that's all we did. I started in the carb game, if you want to say, and we only knew one way to do it, right? Using hydrocarbon to make oil and to make it either shadow, wax, butter,
Right.
only way to do it. So obviously, it's definitely a good market. I think it's still a good industry to be in. It's not, we're all for that. And for me, it was more about trying to find out, okay, how do I get the same results without using hydrocarbons or the money that is involved in making it. So having solventless was pretty much a way to kind of avoid any of the issues of the questions about it, and also the expense that goes with it, as far as even building a facility for hydrocarbon.
Gotcha.
It's a process. It's very, very expensive.
Yeah, a lot of back end stuff.
A lot of back end stuff. But solventless, you kind of avoid all that stuff,
Makes sense.
and he makes it simple to market, to promote, and to advertise.
Cool. Appreciate that. So sliding over, going into your concentrates, and I was able to see a little of them, like I said the other day at Bend and Blaze. But let's talk about ice sauce, and I think we got some products here. But tell me a little bit about that.
So ice sauce, the goal kind of with that, I think, was really trying to find something. With solventless, you have your shelf life is really touchy with temperatures, with time, kind of a lot of things go into it. So the day you can buy something and within 2-3 hours it looks completely different.
Really? Okay.
So like with this I was trying to get something to where the moment it leaves and the moment you finish the last dab, it has kind of looked the same. Essentially we take the terpene and the cannabinoids, kind of separate them. Once they're separated, we can put them back together. Now they won't interact as much, I guess you could say, as if they're just kind of sitting there by themselves together.
Cool.
So it kind of just helps the shelf life, and it looks like regular BHO kind of thing. So it was a cool thing to bring to market because everybody thought it was kind of BHO at first.
Yeah.
Word.
Yeah, it was one of our innovating products, and the first one we kind of came out with. As you know, there's the other companies that have rosin,
Right.
so people kind of used to that normal rosin.
Right.
So for us, having rosin be our first, I guess, our first product wouldn't have been really enticing. It's okay, we've seen it before. So when he created the ice sauce, it was something innovating and new. That was like, wow, this is nothing that has been seen before. So we kind of like, that was our almost like entry into the industry, saying, okay, we have something unique and new, it's not being done. And ice sauce was a name that we kind of thought we really use for the industry.
Yeah.
And that kind of like launched us to say, okay, we're different from everybody else.
Yeah.
And then that helps us to expand other SKUs in the Voda brand.
Cool. So ice sauce was that at first?
That was the first one we came out with. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So then, coming from that, how did you cross over and create THCA and then the other rosin as well?
So THCA is essentially what is left over after our pens.
Okay.
Once we take out the higher terpene part, we're left with all that cannabinoid. So THCA is pretty much a tests. I don't think we've had a test that's been under like 95%.
Nice.
So it's usually really high up there. It's really dry, really hard, like rock hard.
Cool.
So it's pretty much the most, it's like the strongest solventless concentrate, I guess you can kind of get, as far as the cannabinoid contact goes.
Very cool. So for people out there who are looking at concentrates familiar, maybe they have their favorite brand and things like that now. What type of client, customer is usually coming to you? What are they looking for? What do they like in taste? What do they like in product? And like, I just think there's people out there who like look for certain things, and I want to make sure you guys tell them about you guys' product, and some people can maybe come out and try it.
Yeah, I think we kind of just try to do things differently. Everybody's kind of just doing rosin, doing melt, and they kind of just have two SKUs. We're trying to see like what all we can do with the plant. There's a lot of possibilities, and we're kind of just scraping the surface, of all those possibilities.
Yeah, obviously there's a lot of science in cannabis, but it seems like you guys are pretty hunkered in. What I mean?
So yeah, I think like the people who like seeing new things kind of come to us. People who are used to BHO maybe and like used to just that texture, and then see like a solventless that's kind of familiar with them. I think kind of that draws them into. So
yeah, I would think that solventless is a high quality of this product because using the best part of the plant, and it's almost like you can't really trick it how it comes out at the end. If you do extractions like shadow wax and butter, using hydrocarbons to get stuff out of it. With solventless, you really got to have the input's got to be as good as the output.
Right.
So that's why it's not really common to see too many companies doing it, because it's hard to really have the quality from beginning to end. And so we have a lot of brands out here that do solventless. You just know they're getting the best part of the plant and they're making great product. And so for us, that's kind of what we're doing. We're getting the best part of the plant, and it's hard to do and maintain it consistently. And that's it's more of a skill in the craft than anything else.
Interesting. I appreciate that, man. It sounds like in this day and age, there's a lot of people putting out products and a lot of people trying to get in the game. It's really good to hear the thought and the strategy and like what you guys are looking to accomplish, and hear that well thought through, and hear what you guys are doing behind the scenes. Obviously, we're towards the end of 2019. 2020 is around the corner. Everyone's getting ready for that. What is Voda most excited for in 2020, or what are you guys looking to get into? Anything to share?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we're gonna make more SKUs.
Okay.
We're gonna stick with solventless as kind of like Voda. That's what it is. So we're gonna do more SKUs than the 4 we have. That we're R&D and some stuff right now.
Cool.
We're gonna start controlling our own input.
Nice.
Start really having a growth, kind of traffic our own strains that we control from beginning to end. And that's where it gets really exciting, because then we can bring so many different strains to the industry. Right now we're kind of like, we're at the leisure of what we could get out there in the industry right now. So controlling that from beginning to end would be the best part of us, because then we can have fun strains, new strains, fresh strains, and that's where it really gets great. It really brings a different audience to like experience it in the best way possible.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Speaking of audience, you guys, how long have you guys been members of Cultivated Synergy?
Members is
Just in the community, you know what I mean, participating, coming to events,
oh,
that type of thing.
I'm like day one.
Okay.
Before they even here, I was at the old spot, so I know
nice.
about them for 4 or 5 years now.
Cool. Yeah. What have you most enjoyed about, you know, the community, Blood Tender Night, and just things like that here?
Well, me personally, I like interaction, and the thing about the industry is that, you know, for years people were scared to come out and express themselves about the industry, right? About marijuana in general.
Yeah.
And discuss it and talk about to your friends at work. No one, oh, you smoke, you know, no one wants to talk about that.
Right.
You come to a place like this where you know, okay, everybody's coming here is going because they all love the same plant, and you kind of interact, communicate better and freely, and it makes you feel comfortable, right? So this kind of place is a place where we all go and talk and share our passion.
Yeah.
And that's why it's rare, because not places like that. You're either doing it with homes or people that you know personally, but you're not telling like your friends at work that, or your friends or your family members,
Right.
hey, let's talk about marijuana. They're not gonna, you know. But here, we're all family when we come in here. That's why I think it does well, very well.
They appreciate that, and glad to have you part of the community, most definitely. Well, as we kind of wrap up, I'd love for you guys to let people know where they can find you, website, social media, any events or anything you have coming up, and just ways people can reach out and get in contact. But also where people can get your products.
Yeah, so right now you go to Instagram, VodaConcentrates.com. Website, same thing, VodaConcentrates.com. We're located in almost all areas in Colorado. We're in Colorado Springs, we're in Boulder, we're in Vail, we're in Pueblo, we're in Denver, obviously, also in Fort Collins. So we have stores scattered around. There's probably like, you know, Denver's like 10 stores and everywhere else like 5 stores each. We're expanding every week. We're expanding our company. So pretty soon we'll be in a more, you know, large amount of stores. But right now we're like in every area, so there's not too far to get one.
Cool.
Try it out.
Good to know. Well, I appreciate the time today. It's good having you guys member of the community. Great meeting you at Blood Tender the other night. Excited to see what you guys do next.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks so
Appreciate
much.
you.